Welcome to Eligibility podcast. Let's talk. This is your host Muhammad Affan, and today we're doing a special episode regarding freelancers and influencer marketing. So we have one of our guests who runs a company which involves these kind of things. We have Aizaz Nayyer. Aizaz, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience who don't know you and don't know your work.
Sure. Thank you, Affan. Very happy to be here today. So I'm Aizaz Nayyer. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Linkstar. So Linkstar is a remote talent platform where we have, freelancers, creators, influencers. We have them all on board, and we provide talent to different SMEs and startups and so on, specializing in the marketing niche. Before this, I've actually had experience in freelance myself. I used to be a freelancer myself back in my university days, which would have been maybe 5 years ago now.
So you were from which university?
So I went to LUMS.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was a start, if you could say, where I first encountered freelancing and saw, life is good with freelancing. So that's where the journey kind of began.
Right. So, Aizaz, let's start with why do you feel that this is the need of the time? Why do you think freelancers क्यों होना चाहिए? And what was the purpose behind founding Linkstar, apart from you being only the freelancer itself?
Yeah, of course. So, I guess the reason that I mentioned that I used to freelance myself is because, nothing happens overnight. A journey over there, it has to start somewhere. So my journey actually started off over there, and because of the fact that it went well, I did well over there. So initially I started off, freelancing. I was always good at writing. So I started off from there. Then I became a middleman who used to get projects and get them done, so in a manual sort of way. Made some good money over there. I went to see the FIFA World Cup in Russia, saw Ronaldo live and all of that. So kind of lived a dream, And I thought, okay, maybe other people can also help. I can also help other people live the dream.
Right.
And then, I went to Daraz. I was at Daraz. I launched a regional department over there that was related to digital marketing. And there I interacted with a lot of agencies for several brands. I launched 100 plus brands across 5 countries. So interacting with many agencies across the board, right? And of course, used to have some issues pop up. I needed to get some campaigns live. But sometimes there'd be delays, we don't have the creative ready and so on. Because I had freelanced, I was aware of the ecosystem. I was like, you could get a freelancer over here and kind of speed this whole thing up, right? That's where the kind of first, concept came about, and we launched Savvy. So my friend and my co-founder, Adil, so Adil and I are childhood friends, go back like 15 years. So we got together, and ऐसी part time में हमने शुरू किया था. I was still doing my day job. He was doing his day job. Just started off, we launched a freelance marketplace. It was called Savvy, and we did decently well over there. We bootstrapped the whole thing in 2021. Made $6-digit revenues, and the whole concept was that it was a pre-vetted freelancers होते थे हमारे पास. We had a whole vetting mechanism. But of course, when you're bootstrapping, these kind of marketplaces require a lot of burn, right? And during that time, our third co-founder also came on board. He came from an agency background, Ali Raza. He's our chief operating officer. And during that journey in 2021, we kind of discovered that the majority of freelance work was actually happening outside of freelance marketplaces. Now, sometimes people get surprised when they hear that, but actually almost 90% of freelance work actually happens outside of freelance marketplaces. So that's why social media, that's why referrals, personal networks, and so on, right? So we thought, why not target this bigger share of the pie that is there and kind of help facilitate the freelancers to actually sell, right, on their own terms. So that's where the concept for Linkstar was born. And we started off by just providing a landing page to freelancers, right? So, for example, you could make muhammadafan.linkstar, and you could add your portfolio, your packages, your services, social professional links, right? All within 5 minutes from your mobile phone. That was the concept. And the vision was that, the service was being given for free. So we get people to come on board, and out of that, the top percentage, we then start matching them with businesses.
Okay. So, were you able to, how's the transaction working? Are you paying through the app, or once they meet, it's not you are going to get out?
So, actually, that's the learning that we took from our first platform. So from Savvy, that was the learning. That was the big learning that we took, right? That people want to work directly.
Yeah,
they want to work
don't
directly.
want the middleman.
And it's not even just about the middleman. In Pakistan, of course, we take WhatsApp for granted, right? WhatsApp is not as popular everywhere in the world as it is in Pakistan. We have almost 40 million WhatsApp users, right?
In India and Pakistan, both in subcontinent, you can see WhatsApp, but globally they don't.
Yeah, but people really prefer WhatsApp over here, right? So we're like, okay, fine. If people really prefer it, then by all means, go for it. So how we actually go about it is the basic version of Linkstar is free, right? Anyone can come and make a Linkstar. Okay. After that, we have subscriptions. Okay. So what happens with subscriptions is, and the subscriptions are starting off, we've just launched a student package, which is for as low as 350 rupees per month. Okay. And through the subscription, you get access to more customization, more analytics, and also access to opportunities from SMEs.
Oh, so how does the SME, how that?
Yeah. So that's actually somewhere where we have actually innovated quite a bit. So with the first time that we did Savvy, we realized that, there's a lot of burn involved, right? You have to spend a lot of marketing to bring buyers to the platform. So this time around, we went in with a more efficient approach. And this actually came about as a result of one of our investors, which are called SOSV, or Orbit Startups. Right. So they have almost 1,000 portfolio companies around the globe, right? And one of the advantages that we saw with them was that their portfolio companies require talent.
Acha. How is that?
Because they need marketing solutions, freelance solutions, and so on, right? Okay. So we thought there's an opportunity over here, and going from that, like recently, for example, we decided that we are going to partner up with aggregators of these SMEs and startups, right? So there's one called Get Funded Africa, which we've recently just partnered with. These guys have 50,000 African SMEs and startups, right? Now, we've signed an exclusive partnership with them. All of the startups and SMEs that they have on board, right? Okay. Anytime they need freelance solutions, marketing solutions, anything of that sort, Linkstar is their go-to.
Okay.
So through that, without having to burn money on customer acquisition, through this one partnership, we've unlocked a whole new market, right? And lots of SMEs and startups that we would otherwise have to go and individually had to reach out.
That's the most difficult part from the company who want to expand and want to grow aggressively. But let's move on to the next thing that I want to talk about. Talk about freelancing. You talk freelancing in the general, but do you think that freelancing is a solution for Pakistan's low exports? That is the way to go forward.
So, the first thing is we've lost our competitive advantage in too many areas, right? Okay. I've read somewhere that Pakistan loses out on almost 35% of sales revenue due to facts like electricity breakdowns, load shedding, and so on, right? And this actually it falls into the value chain continuously, right? So what happens is, आपके घर पे light गई, right? रात में. Now you're gonna wake up frustrated in the morning, right? पूरा दिन पूरी रात जो थी बिजली थी नहीं. Now you come in, you're gonna perform at a substandard way. And similarly, it just continues. If you had some work from home, that got interrupted. There were delays across the value chain, right? So it's not just in manufacturing where that hits you, because it also hits you in freelance services and so on. But that being said, we have a very massive youth population, right? The average age of Pakistan is probably 25 years old. So there's massive potential over there.
70% is 15 to 30.
Yeah, so exactly, right? So massive potential over there. And what is needed, of course, is we keep on going on about how Pakistan has a lot of freelancers, right? I don't think that's the thing to focus on. The thing to focus on is the quality of the freelancers.
That's true. We have a lot of freelancers, but
the quality of the freelancers is something to focus on, and that can only be truly improved when your education system is improved. Because that's where everyone is learning, But do
you think that's a broader...
That is a much broader thing. But that being said, Pakistan fiscal year 22, we did $400 million. Freelancers brought in $400 million. Some people might find that impressive. I think that's peanuts. It's nothing for a country with so many youngsters, right? And so much potential. It's nothing. कुछ भी नहीं. हमारी GDP जो it's what $350 billion. उसके लिए क्या है? $350 million क्या है उसके लिए? So yeah, exactly. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's not even 1%. So yeah, there is a lot of potential over there, and this absolutely can be one of the pillars, right? IT, for example, overall, right? Not just freelancing. Freelancing is a very broad term, of course, but the IT sector as a whole is some place where if we develop our human capital, right, there's still a lot of potential for us to actually go and compete internationally, because we can compete. But when I talk about the broader terms, मैं education system की आपके साथ बात कर रहा हूँ, सब कुछ कर रहा हूँ, None of this can happen without governmental support and governmental vision. That's absolutely important.
Right. So, moving on with Linkstar, there are a lot of freelancing platforms and more are being created.
Yeah.
But how do you think Linkstar differentiate from global platforms like Fiverr and Upwork?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So, I mentioned earlier with you that freelancing platforms actually, they're a minority of all the freelance work that's happening actually globally. The freelance platforms से आपको काम मिलता है, that's still a minority. For context, the freelance market size is worth trillions of dollars, right? US alone के अंदर it's worth trillions of dollars. Globally तो आप और भी ज़्यादा है. But Fiverr and Upwork combined, ठीक है, combined don't even make up 10 billion, ठीक है. For context, 1 trillion is 1,000 billion, right? So it's nothing. There's a whole world out there. There's a whole world which is ripe for innovation and different models. Our model is more similar to TopTal, which is based on matching. So we've tried the gig-based model first, right? With Savvy, right? Which is a gig-based UI. Now we've moved towards a matching system, right? So how we do it is, जो एक landing page होता है for a Linkstar, they have different data points entered there, right? So the brands that they have worked with, education, results, and so on, lots of details, pricing, and so on, right? If someone comes in as an SME or a business that wants to get work done, they fill out a small form, right? They just add a few drop down hote hai, usme they just fill that out. At the back end, right, we use data to actually match and see what are the best matches for them. So with this approach, we found that our success rate is much higher, right? We can control that process a lot more and provide relevant talent, right? For example, if you come in as a fashion e-commerce company, right? We can provide you with someone who has experienced marketing fashion e-commerce, right? Who has already done the performance marketing for some fashion e-commerce brands. This saves you both time and cost, because what happens is, if there's a performance marketer, he's already worked on marketing e-commerce fashion, right? He already knows, he has the kind of ad sets and the audiences and all made, right? He has a very good idea that, okay, for Karachi, 15 to 20-year-olds, this is the demographic to target. He doesn't have to experiment, because experimenting also costs money, right? And it's going to take a month. So he can actually accelerate that growth for you, and that's where we're seeing the best results for ourselves, because our clients and our customers are very happy with the results that we're producing.
So I've gone through the Linkstar page. I've seen what you've talked about, and I've applied as well.
Yeah.
So I was just checking out, and the first statement that I saw, it uses AI.
Yeah.
Right. So I graduated from IBA in computer science, so I have that background. My FYP was machine learning. So I want to think, what do you think, how is AI playing a role here in you?
So AI, for example, AI is a very broad term, first of all, okay? Let's start off with the simple basics over here. Simple basics है क्या है? We are using matching, right? अच्छा, matching का क्या है? When you start off with matching, right? Your results are going to be, let's say, maybe 75% efficient, right? You're finding the 75, yeah. With time, right? If you don't employ machine learning, your algorithm is not going to get smarter, right? So you need to make it smarter. So that's one area. Second area now is that you have to bring in rating mechanisms, right? Because now you have to see that, okay, this freelancer, how well did he perform, right? What was his response time like, right? If he was given something, was it happening that, he's taking all day and not replying, right? You have to build that into his rating as well, right? You move forward then, right? Now you're trying to build a system which is more and more efficient. So now you're actually looking at, right now, for example, we have account managers, right? So if you're a brand and you're like, I need a team of 4 to 5 freelancers, I'll give you an account manager, right, to manage it for you. But of course, I can do that for maybe the next, 500 businesses, but not maybe the next 500,000 businesses, right? So I need to have a system in place. How do I make that? For example, you have a chat over there. Now your chat is getting monitored. You're seeing how long did it take for someone to reply, right?
But do you see the actual messages? Do you guys? Acha. Okay. So, is there limitations if people try to get directly with?
So,
but I've seen that with Upwork.
Yeah. So the direct part, the way we've cancelled it out is you only get the projects if you're paying a subscription.
Acha,
yeah.
You get your upfront money.
Yes, right. Exactly. So, and the business, it's in the business interest to actually stick with us because we provide them with a lot of value other than just the money being kept safe. Now, for example, you get dengue, right? Now you're out of action. Okay. But the client still needs his work done. So we have a replacement mechanism in place where now we can replace that freelancer immediately so that your work does not get affected. right? So there are value additions over there that are beyond just the fact that your money is safe and so on.
Okay. So, Acha, what the difference point of what I saw at Linkstar was that you saw there was a lot of influencer marketing. So you said, "Okay, yeah, we also provide influencers," and I tried hiring that. Okay, what is the budget and all that. I did fill the form, and I saw, okay, yeah, matlab, do you feel where did the idea came from, the influencer marketing, and do you think it's effective?
Okay. So two things. I mentioned earlier that we're focusing on the marketing niche, right? So the talent that we've got on board, yes, we do have people. Obviously, anyone can come and make their links, right? So we do have people from tech and other areas as well. The reason we decided to focus on marketing as a niche, right, is because when you think of marketing, do you think of any platform?
Right.
Does any platform come to mind, right?
Hi, Insta comes to my mind, YouTube comes to my mind.
Yeah, but now when you think, for example, of design, you think of maybe Behance, right? Right?
True.
You think of tech, so you think maybe of Turing.com, right? But when you think of marketing, with a platform coming to mind, right, where you can find all of these people in one place, right? That is something which there's still a gap over there, right? It's not a platform that comes to mind. So we thought, you know what? This actually came about as a result of our own experiences. When we first launched Linkstar, right? First of all, तो हमने पहला decision लिया था that we're going to go and raise some funds. We're not going to bootstrap it this time, right? Okay. So we went, we got Sarmaya Kaur on board, we got this K3 Diversity Ventures on board, we got SOSV Orbit Startups on board, and now next thing we wanted to actually find an agency to market Linkstar. And that is where we just faced a lot of struggle, right? Because we couldn't afford the best of the best, right? We couldn't afford, let's say, Group M and so on. Okay? Too expensive for us. And for most SMEs and startups and so on, right? But जो mid to low tier थी, उसमें we tried. First of all, it took us a month to finalize an agency almost. Okay? There's so many proposals and pitches and so on that you go through. Some people never show up for the proposals and so on. When we finally got an agency on board, within the first month, we had to fire them, right? It just wasn't working out. The results just weren't coming in. The response time was too slow and so on. Hired another one, had the same results. Ultimately, we just went on our own platform. We found a performance marketer who had experience at a top agency, which we otherwise could not afford. We got him on board on a freelance basis. It solved our problem. So we're like, you know what, this worked for us, right? Let's do a survey. Let's see if other companies are also facing issues with their agencies. And they were, right? Consistently, we found that most people were unhappy with their agency's performance. So we're like, okay, fine, let's just focus on the marketing niche. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the landing page can be made by anyone. So we had creators and influencers on board organically, right? So we're like, okay, marketing, influencers do fall under marketing, right? So it's all falling under the same ecosystem. And that's where we kind of clubbed it into as part of our services as well. So now it's a full service thing. Now, like I mentioned, I'll give you an example actually to help you understand. We got this brand that came in for fashion e-commerce, right? We got this brand that came in for logistics, right? And they all have different needs. So the logistics one, they wanted us to manage their whole social media for them. They wanted to do the performance marketing. They wanted to get the influencer marketing, all of that, right? So what we did was, हमारे USP क्या है? Within 48 hours, we build the team for you. Right?
Okay, within 48?
Yes, within 48 hours. We build the team for you, right? Based on what, so for example, if you're logistics, we'll find people who can actually get you the best results for logistics, right? And we have these people in our data pool already, right? Okay. So we build that team for you, and we can then afterwards, we give you an account manager as well based on how much you're spending, right? You have to spend a little bit extra for the account manager. But if you want that, you don't want to manage 3 to 4 freelancers yourself, we get you the account manager, right? So now, with that process going forward, the influencers, when they needed, there was another education company, it's called Napier. So Napier needed influencers for a very specific kind of campaign, for, board exams and medical board exams and all of that. So they were like, can you guys find us these influencers, right? So we found them those influencers, right? They got the results through them because, and that's what we've been doing for other companies as well. So as a part of our offering, it works out very well.
Okay. So, Acha, what is the eligibility criteria of qualifying for an influencer?
Qualifying for an influencer?
Yeah, how do you classify them? Ki, yeah, this is something that we need. Is there the number of followers, subscribers? Okay. How do you feel categorize that?
So first of all, this is very common knowledge, but I'll share it anyways. Followers, for example, are not the most important thing, right? What is more important is engagement. Right? Because now the thing is that with followers, oftentimes, yeah, of course, that is a major problem, right? which can be dealt through to multiple tools. You can actually analyze the following and so on. But the engagement is really where the value lies, right? So you can actually analyze the engagement, and you can see whether it's just again, engagement can also sometimes be comments that can also be bots sometimes, right? So yes, so you have to see that what that actual engagement is looking like as well, right? And from there you can then see that okay, you actually there are percentages that come out, right? And you have different kind of and of course with the percentage as well, it also has to, you have to see that what is the influencers category, right? And are the comments and are the people that are commenting of a similar kind of you know, yeah, otherwise if you're getting lots of comments about the crypto bots that come in, that's not relevant, right? So those are some factors that go into it as well. And then of course you have to see whether the track record of the influencer as well, right? That have they previously worked with any such thing or not? And yeah, those are certain factors that go into it. Just one thing that I'd like to add there is that you know, platforms such as Fiverr and Upwork and all of that, those are all great, right? If you want to get into your freelancing career, you want to kick that off though, my recommendation is don't just go on platforms, right? Establish your own personal brand, right? Utilize social media, utilize LinkedIn, right? Utilize Instagram, utilize WhatsApp, everywhere that you are, right? And have your presence everywhere. So the concept with Linkstar essentially was that you have that one landing page, you go and add it in your link in bio, right, on Instagram. You can add it in your WhatsApp link in bio as well. Add it in your LinkedIn website area as well, right? Has everything that you do in one place. So you cut out the friction of the journey. Even by the way, if you have a gig that you're selling on Fiverr, you can add that on your Linkstar as well. That's okay. That's not banned. Right? Yeah. Everything that your whole digital presence, everything that you have, you can put it in one place. Right? And the second thing is, all of this is free. It's all free. Right?
But how do you get subscription?
So the people now who, for example, want additional customization and additional analytics, right, and access to opportunities and SMEs, right, they have to pay a subscription. Subscription is very nominal, right? Starts off with 350 rupees for students, right? Goes up to per month, yeah. Goes up to 999 rupees as well. And these days that's you're foregoing one burger essentially. So for example, right now within a month usually what we do is we send out various opportunities to our subscribers. So we keep on sending them out. Every week we're sending out multiple opportunities. So if you want to do a cost benefit analysis, if you are spending maybe by the yearly package and it's costing you maybe 5,000 rupees, right, for the whole year, the average opportunities that we're getting over here on the platform are worth around 20,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees. And that is only going to start going up because, like I mentioned, we have the Get Funded Africa partnership coming in. We have other partnerships as well in place, right? We're talking to Dastagir right now. We have DigiKhata as well in place. So these guys have millions of SMEs on board, right? So those opportunities are only going to keep on increasing. So this is just the start. And as we see, and of course, we have more international expansion plans as well. So yeah.
Right. Thank you, Aizaz, for coming on the show. I really loved your presence here, and all those who enjoyed the episode, I hope you liked the episode. And if you want anyone else that you want us to bring in, please do mention that in the comment box. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.